What type of hate has to be manufactured in the head of a man for him to stand over a 6-year-old boy and stab him 26 times?
The suspect's wife told detectives he listened to conservative talk radio and thought the mother and son would have people over to attack them.
He apparently had been listening to conservative radio for some time.
Joe listens to conservative talk radio on a regular basis and has been heavily interested in the events that have recently occurred in Israel. She also said he was concerned about the National Day of Jihad and wanted Shaheen and her son to move out.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, assalamu alaikum. We're here at the janazah of the young 6-year-old Muslim boy who was stabbed 26 times.
Stabbing him more than 26 times, and he was looking in his eyes.
Here with some of the community leaders. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around this.
The suspect knocked on the door to her room in their shared Plainfield home and started an argument about the Israel-Hamas war, then attacked her with a large knife. She reported that she fought him off and hid in the bathroom, but could hear the suspect stabbing her son from another room as she called police.
This child that we just buried, Wadia, was about to go to school today on Monday, but instead he was brought here to the cemetery. This musibah, this calamity is not only limited to his family, it's not only limited to Muslims or Palestinians. This could happen to any one of us, could happen to me and my wife, could happen to you, could happen to our neighbors. We have to stand all together in this very difficult time to stand for peace and justice for all children and all free people and everywhere. The message of hate should stop immediately and be replaced with a message of peace and justice. Because without justice, and again, we always talk about peace, but peace and justice has to go together. Without justice, it will be very difficult to enjoy any peace. And so, as an American Muslim, who stand for the values of justice and peace, I ask everybody to join us in protecting our families and our children, to enjoy our lives here, but also to stand for justice and peace for people in Gaza and people everywhere. Because as Martin Luther King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, and this is what we're facing now.
It doesn't stop with just the 6-year-old boy. You were just telling me the mother also got stabbed 12 times.
Involving the stabbing death of a 6-year-old Muslim boy. This happened over the weekend, too, in a suburb south of Chicago. Tonight, police are saying that boy and his mother were targeted because of the war in Israel. I want to show you this right here. Wadia Alfayumi just turned 6 years old a couple weeks ago. On Saturday, the sheriff's office says the family's 71-year-old landlord, Joseph Suba, attacked the boy and his mother. The boy was stabbed 26 times. His mother stabbed over a dozen times.
He knocked on the door and that he attempted to choke her and said, "You Muslims must die," and attempted to stab her and stabbed her.
The crime confirming for many in the Palestinian American community the fear that's been building since the start of the war in what they call an atmosphere of hate.
It pains me that the sacrificial lamb to this atmosphere was this beautiful, young, 6-year-old boy who had his whole life ahead of him.
Among those paying their respects, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, Governor J.B. Pritzker, and Congressman Jonathan Jackson.
Yeah, and my heart goes out to her because she's the one that's most affected from all of us. I mean, she witnessed what happened to her son. He was stabbed 26 times, the knife still in his belly when he was taken to the autopsy. She herself was stabbed 12 times, including in her face. She can't talk, and she's in, basically very serious condition in the hospital. And on top of it, on top of the physical injury, the mental trauma, she's alone in the hospital without this kind of community support right now because of security reasons and health reasons. So we have to remember her. We're trying to raise some money to assist her with her hospital bills and everything else, but she's in a very strong, a place where nobody can envy her. And I just want to add, we've said a lot about this, but I'll say one more point. As I was standing today and looking at the thousands of people that were there, the dozens of television cameras from all over the United States and the world. We had the governor, we had the mayor, we had, this elected official, that elected official. And I thought to myself, how is our beautiful martyr, our beautiful boy, Wadia, any different from all of the Wadiyas, all of the beautiful martyrs in Gaza, the 750 of them? He was stabbed in a heinous crime, yes, but I ask you, do you think a bomb that falls from the sky does less damage than a knife that stabs 12 or 26 times? Do you think that's a pretty image? Because it isn't. So what is it about this situation that woke up the conscience of our governor and our mayor and our media? We have to understand there is no difference between this heinous crime here, which we all must condemn, and clearly everybody gets that, and the many wadiyas. And this is the father's feeling. This is not just me. He said, my son is a representation of what is happening, and to feel for him, we have to feel for everyone. So I say to them, can you get your humanity, your intellect, to understand that what you see close to home and you feel, it isn't any different if it's a little far away. And we are contributing. We're not just not feeling what's happening, we're contributing $8 billion, warships, more moral support, media support to what's happening. So I'll just close by saying, this boy has gone, but not in vain. He is waking up the conscience of everyone around us, and we need to keep that message, and may Allah accept him, as a bird of heaven. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen.
Alhamdulillah, salatu wa salam ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. These places, obviously, as the Sheikh was saying, the hurma, that these are sacred places. The graveyard is a place that we have to observe certain sanctities, but I think that the ending is all the same, which is at the end of the day, when you put people in the ground, when the grave is all covered, it all looks the same. But we know from our deen that the stories under those graves are very different. And we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first and foremost accept Wadi' as a shaheed, as a martyr, and that the cruelty that he faced in this life is met with the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the next, and that all he faces now is the expanse of Allah Azza wa Jall's garden. I often think about when I see these tragic situations, because we've had a lot of them over the years. Those that we know and those that we don't know, but we love and we certainly make dua for. I think of Asya alayhi salam, when the Fir'aun dropped the stone on her, and as she was being tortured, lahikat, she laughed, and Fir'aun spoke about her as a mad woman and mocked her, but Allah Azza wa Jalla showed her place in Jannah when she was struck. Now, I think what we have to balance as Muslims is both the hope in Allah's mercy when these situations happen, that we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ma kana rabbuka nasiya, your Lord does not forget, your Lord, inna Allah la yudhi'u ajra al-muhsinin, Allah does not let the reward of the good doers go to waste, nor does Allah let the crimes of the criminals go unpunished. So we have to sort of balance our outrage with what has happened in the material world with the hope that what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala offers in the afterlife, and that which is immaterial to us right now, or what we can't sense and perceive right now, is greater and is restorative. And I want to say, we've been talking about Palestine. People need to see the stories. People need to hear the stories. People need to see the human side of these babies. One wadi' can be more effective in waking up the conscience of people than a number 800, 900. Allah knows what it will be by the time we leave the cemetery. One wadi' can be more effective in waking up the conscience of people. And we hope that that will be the case, inshallah ta'ala. And so it's important to just remember that these are kids, that they have stories, that they have families. Part of the way that we maybe unintentionally become a part of the dehumanization is we only show charred, burned, corpses, and we don't tell stories. And our Quran is full of the stories of people that have full stories of dua and pain and victory after defeat. So we need to tell their stories, bidnillahi ta'ala, and then we need to ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to make our story a good one and let our ending be good. I remind everyone, it's very hard when you kind of witness the unspeakable to speak. That's why it's called the unspeakable. But what distinguishes us is that we have iman. We have faith. We believe in Allah and we believe in the hereafter. تُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. You believe in Allah and you believe in a paradise. And you believe that every single one of these arwah, every single one of these souls is in a better place. So while you try to fight back on the hell on earth that's being created for them here, have faith that Allah Azza wa Jal will admit them into the paradise that we all hope to go bidnillahi ta'ala.
Thank you. You can see the power of the propaganda media pushing lies.
1. 40 babies were beheaded. This is completely false. No evidence has been provided for this. The claim comes from this journalist during a walk and talk. she makes the claim saying,
I see in the distance more bodies being covered. Babies. Their heads cut off.
Later in a tweet, however, she admits that she did not see bodies but heard a soldier talking about violence. Why? Because they are the ones planning to commit atrocities themselves. To do this, they need to convince you that Palestinians are barbaric animals that rape, torture, and behead babies.
Pushing the dehumanization of the Muslims, and this is the direct result of that. So we need our friends, our brothers and sisters in humanity, those who are out there that have God consciousness, who have a heart, who can put themselves in this situation. You have children, you have an obligation to speak up, to speak to your communities so this doesn't spread like a cancer and more people don't follow the footsteps of one evil man. You notice his religion is not mentioned. Imagine if this was flipped again. We know how the scenario goes, but we don't blame the religion. We blame the individual, and then we got to look to the hate provocateurs.
Joe listens to conservative talk radio on a regular basis and has been heavily interested in the events that have recently occurred in Israel. She also said he was concerned about the National Day of Jihad.
Those who are pushing and peddling much of this hate, this atrocity propaganda.
We urge the media to exercise responsibility and balance its reporting, recognizing that it plays a pivotal role in shaping public perception.
Who promotes debunked lies, as in the case of the beheaded Israeli children. And when you have a media, supposedly mainstream media, that also refers to debunked lies, as in the case of raping Israeli women.
I have seen children under the rubble. I have seen children torn to pieces from war. I have never thought I will see this here in America. I have never thought I will see this barbaric action here in our land. And our hearts ache because of that. Because me as a physician, I have never imagined that we will lose our humanity to that degree and treat children where we are supposed to heal them and take care of them.
Saying that we reject hate, we reject discrimination, and we stand for one playing field for all, one America for all.
Sorry, it's kind of throwing me off a little bit. Because I have a 5.5-year-old. She'd be in the same class. And my wife and I have been talking about it all weekend, and we couldn't imagine. So, honestly, forget the politics. I don't care about the politics. I'm getting sick and tired of this crap going on around the country, in the state, anywhere. Kids are kids. Let kids be kids. Hold people accountable. Make sure that this doesn't happen anywhere else. Too much has happened throughout this country, too much hate, and I think about my daughter all the time, and you want to think that this is an isolated situation, but there's so much hate out there, and we need to stop from everywhere.
Assalamu alaikum.
I have no doubt that bi'idhnillahi ta'ala it will be a successful project, inshallah. I've had the blessing of knowing Brother Eddie since he started the Deen Show, and he's one of the most sincere and most dedicated people to the da'wah that I have ever met. So please do support the Deen Center. Jazakumullahu khairan.
I cannot leave without giving you a gift. If you're not yet Muslim and you're tuning in to see what these Muslims are talking about, and you like a free copy of the Quran, go ahead and visit thedeenshow.com. We'll take care of the postage and everything and get it delivered to you. And if you still have some questions about Islam, call us at 1-800-662-4752. We'll see you next time. Until then, peace be with you. Assalamu alaikum.